Hey, how you guys doing, everybody out there in the world? This is Blues Against Hunger again. I'm SIXX, and then we're going to be talking some blues today. And we're going to be talking with some blues with somebody we haven't seen in a while, and I'm quite excited to talk to her. I got to tell you, her name is Brigitte Purdy, and she is a singer and a songwriter and a performer and a gardener, and I'm also and a host of a radio show and her own podcast. I mean, you're doing it all. So welcome. Hello. And a friend. I miss you. It's what
I
now?
miss you guys so much. Thank you for the beautiful introduction, but you all are quite busy yourselves.
Yeah, well, we're starting to slow. Now is our time to back off a little bit right now.
Uh-huh.
Just but we're talking to as many people as we can right now. We just had our last show this weekend for the holidays. We're currently right now at 18,631 pounds of food that we've raised right here in this regional area of Baja. So, and that's just by playing the blues. And our goal is to get over the 20,000, of course, by the end of the year here. So we're cutting it. We're right there. We're right on the money. It was pretty good. So how you
Yeah.
been? Tell me
I'm
about
doing
this.
great, and congratulations on all of the donations of food, because I know that there's so many people, even more so now than ever, that need just not just some love and some healing, but definitely a helping hand, whether it's housing or fooding, clothes. I just made up a new word, clothing or whatever it is. Oops, sorry, I'm not picking my nose, but I got a hair in there. Isn't I know
That's
that
what happens when
Justin?
you're out in the garden.
Yeah, you know what? I got a wild hair. Last week here in California, it was really, really cold. And so now the sun's back out. It's 75, which I'm sure it's beautiful in Baja.
Oh, it's
And
spectacular today. Really warm.
so it's like, ah, I just got a bug. I got a spring bug in the middle of December to plant some things.
Oh yeah, and it's nice that you have the ability and you're in a place that you can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So what have you been doing musically? I know the show. Tell me about your shows here, your podcast. Before we get into the music, because I'm really intrigued by that. I love the fact that, I mean, you got your radio show, the West Coast Blues radio show. So tell me about
Mhm.
that first.
My radio show is every Sunday, and I am on the air sometimes during the week in the mornings. But Sunday, I do Ms. Purdy's Traveling Blues Show, and it's every Sunday from 1 to 3. And I interview guests just like you're interviewing me, and we've had a plethora of amazing artists. Some are blues, some are non-blues. Just chewing the fat with other
Cool
fellow
people.
musicians, and but also playing a lot of music, trying to get things up and running, also trying to let people know where they can go out and hear music, trying to support the venues, get to help get them back up and running, and by helping the venues, we're helping the artists to get back up and running. So it all is one big huge circle of life, and a circle of friends and family.
Yeah, it's one big giving circle. We talk
I
about that.
like that. One big giving circle.
It really
Yeah.
is. So so then artists, blues artists, reach out to you. Then I would imagine and say, hey, how can you help us? How can we get people to hear what we're.
Sure, sure. And we give away things too on the air. There's tickets to help put, fannies in the seats, and get those smiles on the faces for both the artists and for the venues and people, people.
You know, I have a question for you. Then I mean, you may just be the perfect person because this came up yesterday. I was thinking about it. I haven't even mentioned it at all, but you know, last year the Baja Blues Fest called it quits, and now San Diego Blues Fest is calling it quits. Hey, what's happening? What's the pulse and respiration here? What's going on? Can you feel something, or is this just coincidental, or because there's other ones starting up? Rick Lee, Rick Lee, the drummer. He's got a new fest that he just kicked off. So what would you
Oh,
say?
I don't know Rick Lee,
Oh,
so
you
you'll
don't?
have to tell me.
Oh, he's a San Diego blues drummer. He's
Oh, cool.
but he just had his first fest this just a couple weeks ago. And
Oh,
but
beautiful.
So I was wondering if you could give me some idea. I mean, you sounds like
You
you really
know,
pulse.
I mean, watching because I am behind the hat, behind the voice, behind the smile, and the entertainment. I am a person. I am a person who does watch numbers and data and does do my try to do my due diligence in studying artists and various things that are happening. And that's one of the things that I noticed and is a running pattern. But I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, that the running pattern, it just depends on people's economic status during this time frame. And there's some businesses, as we know, that went under. Been very difficult for some artists to hang on,
And
for
still
some of
is.
us to put out new music. I chose to put out singles during this time frame because just of that. Because of it, it's just I didn't feel during this time frame that I might be getting the same return as I once had, as an investing in myself. So I thought, you know what, let me put some singles out because people need to hear music. So it wasn't a
Well, the
huge.
message too. I mean, the single, the time for love. I mean, come on, that's right on the money, honey. That's it right there. Time for love.
Thank you. And it is definitely time for love. So I think it's kind of varies based on where people are at, not just financially, but emotionally,
Hmm.
because it's taken a huge toll. I had COVID 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
If somebody could share this onto my page, I would like to support you guys. I didn't have time to do that because I got crazy in my garden. But if somebody could put it on my page so that way my followers can kind of tune in and listen. I had COVID 3 times. And at first
We're
I was
glad
kind
you're
of
here with us.
reluctant to share.
We're
And
glad you're still here, baby. Thank goodness for that. And three times.
3 times I couldn't breathe. Praise God, I did not go into the hospital, but I did tell my daughter this was the first time before the vaccination. And then I want to tell people that I am vaccinated. So, everybody has their choice and it's their body. But right now I'm talking about me and my body. And I went to bed and I told my daughter, I'm having a hard time breathing. Can you come check on me in the night, in the middle of the night? This was the first when it first came out. And so I worked through that. I was exhausted. And honestly, breathing is a huge part of singing. For
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
some artists, we breathe from our diaphragm, which is not our chest. And so my lung capacity just was not the same. And
Mhm.
so during that time frame, I remember just because I was locked in my room for quite some time, because I was so paranoid of giving it to my kids,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I didn't want to, I didn't want to spread. We didn't know as much during that time frame when it first came out.
So tell me that put me in the timeline of Mother of the Crossroads because that was your 2020 release, which is just such an
No, my
amazing
my
album.
Mother of the Crossroads is not quite out yet. It'll be out this year in 2023. I have released
Oh,
some singles from the album,
that's what we've been getting. Oh my goodness.
from the album. And so now I feel like now the timing is right for me personally. As an independent artist, well, let me backtrack one little
Yeah.
sentence. So I had to reteach myself how to breathe and how to sing during this time frame. And you know what? I did it.
Well, during that 2 years that this was going on. So did it take place? I mean, did one follow the other, or was there a big gap between them? Was the third one recent? I mean, tell me about
No, the
how that
third one, okay, so that was the first year in 2020.
2020.
Then on 2021 and then 2023. So I've had it every year. 2023, I
2023.
think in
Yes.
2023. So, but but during I re-taught myself how to breathe and how to sing and to get that lung capacity back up. Um, because when after the first time that I had it, honestly, I couldn't even finish the end of a sentence speaking.
Oh my goodness. So let me ask then, on the album Mother of the Crossroads, were those vocals post COVID or pre COVID?
Some of them are pre-COVID and some of them are post-COVID.
Because they're unfreaking believable. I gotta tell you, they really are. They really are. I want to talk about that quite a bit. But that so wow, wow. Well, that was some recovery then, because that's incredible.
And that's why, without a doubt, I know for certain that this gift that I've been given from God, it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Him and us. And it's meant to be given because this is actually actually the second time that this has happened to me in my life. And each time God's given me my voice completely back.
Well, I don't see any weakness. I hear no weakness. I nothing. I'm telling you, it was strong. I did this morning. I was going through one right after, and then I worked my way back up, and I was really disappointed because I was like digging in, because every one of them so strong. I want to talk about that Delta sounding guitar guy you had in there. That
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
on that bass. Oh my goodness, all of it.
Well,
What
you're
a
gonna
real
really
miss.
trip out. Okay, the guitar player, and he is also my producer and my co-writer, is Dave Osty, and he's also known as Dirty Dave. And my bass player is Dave Osty,
Oh
and my
my
drummer
goodness.
is Dave Osty on all those tracks.
Holy moly. That is because he has got a sound and a groove.
I
And
know.
even when you went from on the title track was the funkiness. I mean, that was just awesome. And the bass line, I was sold immediately. I had no idea it was the same person.
Same
Now,
guy.
well, let him know he has a big fan. In addition to you, my
Yeah,
dear.
yeah,
Wow, dude, what a
he
compliment.
is one of these complete geniuses. So I can't take
Was
take
your
all the
voice over
credit.
the top of that when you put
Tom,
that? Well, your voice on top of what you created is incredible. It's so
thank
powerful,
you.
so
Thank
strong.
you.
So
A lot,
what
yeah, a lot of those songs we collaborated and we wrote together, and those songs I really truly believe were meant to be born.
so give me the release date then. When can we hear
I'm
everything
I'm
in full?
looking at probably a spring.
Wow. And a tour too, of course, right?
A tour too, a tour too. That's one of the things that why I decided to pull back, because I knew that, um, you know, it wasn't the same being able to support an album tour wise.
Hmm.
I'm just being really honest and laying it out on the line. And I'm speaking these words, hopefully that they'll touch somebody, another artist, maybe somebody else that's in the business, any business, you know, it's just because we're during this interesting time, that doesn't mean that you still can't accomplish your dream, because there's no expiration date on a dream, one. And two, when it's the right time, it is the right time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's fabulous. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for that very much. And I'm really excited by it because I was blown away when I heard it. So when you take it on the road, I mean that's going to be tough to get three of him to go with you. You only got one. I mean that he was laying it down. That's incredible. So how'd you guys meet?
We met via a mutual friend, Drake Shining, who I'm sorry, is also playing on the record. He is he's played with Joe Sample, Etta James, uh,
Wow.
and just a slew of people. He's also Sugar Ray Rayford's
Wow.
keyboardist and musical director.
Well, that's awesome because I love him too.
Hmm.
And we never even started by saying some of the people that you've worked with in the past too. Normally, that always starts. I saw a lot of interviews of yours and and
Hmm.
and and opening articles, and they always start with the fact that you sung background with the Who, Paul Rogers, and for those of you that don't know Paul Rogers, it's free Bad Company. I mean, come on, the list goes on. Even in Queen now
Yeah.
after the loss of poor Freddie. So I mean, you've sung with the best, and now this album. Tell me about that title and what that title means to you, because I can tell this is really you're trying to say something, and so tell me what it is that you're trying to say with
Well,
this.
the thing about it is, you know, blues is really, um there's the story or the myth of the crossroads and Robert Johnson. And us as artists, we kind of all know that. However, everybody has a crossroads in their life, more than one,
Oh boy.
and more than one. And so I've met many crossroads in my lifetime, and I'm a woman and I'm a mother. I can't relate to the things that Robert Johnson went through, and especially during the time frame that he was, things were happening, and especially, culturally. But I've had many crossroads that I've had to endure. Some of
Three that
them
you
were,
were telling us about right now. Three of
huh?
them. I said you were just telling us about three of them just to get your voice back.
Three of them where you have to make choices. And sometimes choices are made for us. But regardless, it's still a journey. It's still a journey filled with love, a journey that is when you know you're on that path and you say, it's time for love.
It's time for love. That's your
Yeah.
single. That's a
Hmm.
single last year, right?
Yeah, that
Time
was
for,
last year.
yeah.
And it went number one on the blues chart. So I was just wow, floored.
Well, it's wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about your music then.
Okay.
First off, um, where does this come from? Where does this inspiration? Where does the time for love come from? I mean, what motivates you or inspires you, or do you just sit down at one moment and say, today I'm going to write something a little like this? Or tell me
Well,
your process.
you know, Dave and I, when we collaborate and we get together, it's like having a musical conversation. Just like you and I are having a conversation, and you have musical connections with people, and you have musical chemistry with people when you get on that stage, or maybe a musician you hadn't played with in a long time, and then you get up there and all of a sudden it's like, wow, man, that felt really good. I hadn't played with you in a long time. And it
That's
was like when we were 13 years old again, that sort that sort of thing. So, music is so magical in my heart and my eyes, my thoughts, that it almost just creates itself. And if you just can listen to the muse in the
mm-hmm.
room and the muse within yourself, I don't know if I'm making sense, but if you can
No, no, you
listen
are
to,
completely. I'm
okay,
completely.
completely, if you can listen to that muse within you and you quiet everything else around, that's why it's so important to de-stress and to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. And, you
You
know,
are
med-
you are about ready to bring tears to my eyes. I'm telling you, I can't tell you. It really how what you're touching right now. You're hitting a whole bunch of buttons of mine. Okay.
good.
Um, absolutely. It's exactly that. I have a thing that I'm doing right now where just every single morning I wake up, and however I feel, I start making a groove or start putting
Oh,
some
that's
music.
awesome.
And I told myself I'm going to do it every single morning for a year. My wife, Rachel, you know my wife, of
I
course.
know, Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
And so she writes in her journal, and I don't really. So I started doing this, and now I'm up to day 32. So I've.
Wow.
But you know what? I find that exactly what you're saying. It's I I can just stop, and I can just let it come out. You don't have to really think. If it's there,
It,
it comes.
music existed before we were even on the planet. Music existed with the birds. Music is sounds, music is vibrations. We carry those vibrations, and whether we're making a melody or not, even through our speaking, and spoken word, look at spoken word, that is touching people with your tone. It's just, it's there, it's existed, it's always been. So, via meditation and quieting my mind and de-stressing, then that allows for the music to really be present, at least for me.
When did that happen for you the first time? When did you know, at what age and at what moment did you know that you were touched by music and that that was going to be part of your life from that point forward?
Always.
You knew just from consciousness. You when little
Always.
baby, so you don't recall ever not knowing that. That's
No, always. It's just like we have an arm and a leg.
yeah.
It's part of my being.
And it was always the voice. Was there ever any other instrument that kind
I
of
played a little guitar, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I hear things, I hear
oh
other
no.
things within
It's
the in the music, like Michael Jackson. I'm not sure if he played an instrument, but I remember watching a documentary about him. And then he was at rehearsal and he turned to the bass player and he said, "You're going to play this." And he sang what the bass player was going to play. So, sometimes I hear um, whole, whole pieces in my head, but I don't have, and so I have to express them a little differently. I, I am a musician, but I express them a little differently because my instrument is I'm a vocalist.
absolutely. No, I understand. I can hear the same kind of idea.
Hmm.
Even like I was talking to Vanessa Collier the other day, and
Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful saxist sings. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
who she
she's
is.
amazing.
Amazing. And I asked her, if so that I'll ask you the same question because it interests me quite a bit now, especially with electronic music and where music is going
Hmm.
these days. But can somebody be a musician without playing an instrument? And I'm and before, let me before you answer that, let me in
Hmm.
my view, and I'm sure yours too, and most people listen, I would hope, the voice is an instrument as much as any of the others.
Sure.
So that aside, can you be a musician without playing an instrument, including the voice?
Are you talking about vocally or what? I'm
I'm
trying to.
just saying, like for instance, we were saying because I've heard people's, and it comes from both sides. The purists on that somebody is a guitar player, they play an instrument and they spent their whole life playing an instrument, and then you have somebody that picks up or doesn't even pick it up. It comes with a program, and they get Garage Band, and now they're making music. Is that, but they don't know anything about anything. They've never spent any time learning an instrument or doing anything like that. But what they're creating is music without question. So wouldn't that make them a musician? I
I
guess
would agree with you then. I would say yes, because like I said before, some people are born with a mind and they can hear things. And so the mind is very powerful. It controls all our functions, all our thought process, everything, everything. So unless you could dig into somebody's mind, how would you really know?
that's right. There you go. So who was the greatest influence to you? Who once you knew from consciousness, we've
Hmm.
established that you always music was part of your life since birth. Is there that one or two memories early on that was like, wow, that or that person, maybe not even a musician, maybe it's just somebody in your life that just kept doing that? What?
Well, one, I want to say I really studied every single badass woman that walked the planet. That was, that's one. Um, when I was really young, I did this show. I think it was a red carpet event. I might have been Grammys or something like that. Um, and Dionne Warwick was on stage. And I remember we were getting there early. I was, like I said, I was a kid. I must have been like 13, 16 or so. And we got
Mhm.
there early. She was outside by her car. She had this little like mug hat, no makeup, jeans, totally dressed down, smoking a cigarette in front of her car, just, being cool. And
Yeah.
I actually didn't even know it was her. And then and then during the show, we had went on earlier, and then during the show, I sat there and I watched her, and she was in this just amazing, like beautiful gown, and so regal and elegant. And she just sang this long, wonderful, beautiful note, was so rich in tone. And
Wow.
it seemed like she held it forever. And that moment always stuck in my mind. Okay, that's what I'm doing. And so like when I said, I always, even to this day, I'll go see artists, and um I watch and I observe and I take notes, and I'm like, I like the way they did that. Even if it's a saxophone, because sax emulates the voice, guitar emulates the voice. A lot of these instruments are emulating the voice and the solos and different things. And I'll say, I like that phrasing, I like that lick, and
Yeah.
I'll save it, and I'll save it. If you're gonna steal from the best.
And that goes for licks too. It goes for all of it, all of the above.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
So, I'm
yeah.
always learning, I'm always growing, I'm always trying to be reflective to see how I can make things better. Um, but also, as I've gotten older, knowing that letting the perfection go and
Mhm.
being in the moment, emotionally connected to the audience is really where the magic is.
What do you do if you feel for a moment that you're losing your audience? If you're performing and at that moment, because that's such an important thing to you, do you have a way or a gift or something that you do, or you whip it out of there? It's like, okay, I got to get their attention. What is there something that you do in those cases?
Well, it's connection. You have to ask yourself, are you connecting with them? Because there's a lot of artists that sing, with a wall, I mean, perform with a wall, and they'll say, they could say, well, how are you, and how are you? But if I if I they do this on stage and I say, hey, how are you?
Mhm. Like you care, you're right there. Yep.
I'm there. I'm in the presence with them.
Mhm. And
You
how
know,
do you do that with it? And do you do that? Can you do that with a large group? I mean, is it you
of
really?
course. I
Yeah.
mean, you want everybody to feel like they're in your living room.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
It's like you're in my house. We're going to make some music together. Like you're coming into my dinner table and we're breaking bread.
Yeah. We're just sitting around. We're gonna jam.
We're
This.
just sitting around and we're going to be breaking some bread, and you know, and it's a very, I mean, communal spiritual thing for me.
Well, as an artist, what would you say is your greatest strength? What do you think that is your personally what you feel is your greatest strength as an artist?
I think it's my connection.
So it is that connection, your ability to connect with people. And I guess that's why you got a radio show and a podcast. I mean,
I
that
really love
that's come
people.
in handy.
I genuinely love people and I genuinely care.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well,
You
what
know,
would you say is your greatest weakness then?
Mm. Overthinking. I don't do it so much anymore. I wanted everything to be so perfect.
Hmm.
And the perfect was actually taking away from connecting with the audience. Because I was thinking about, wait a minute, oh man, that note, it was like under and I was sharp and oh my God, I cracked, how embarrassing. And so that would be like a roadblock in my mind for the rest of the show or whatever. So I had to learn to just like be free and let it go.
Yep. I totally understand that. So I can do that too. I can be listening to the band behind me, and and somebody's screwing up back and behind me somewhere, and I'm losing the song because I'm actually just getting pissed off, and it's not helping anything at all. So if I
I've
would
been there.
just so,
I've been there. The audience doesn't know that somebody did something and that wasn't there. That was supposed to be there. But I'm like, dang, I can't remember that.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's cool. So tell me right now, if you're out in the garden and it's a beautiful day, obviously, I mean, you look
Mm-hmm.
stuck there with that light coming down. You actually got these little rays coming through.
Aww.
You must be near, like, be a tree right behind you or
I
above
have
you.
I have an orange
Yep,
tree back here.
that's
Yeah.
well, you set yourself up perfectly. It's perfect.
Well, you know what? I just thought I'd sit down here and for a spell and just chit chat with you. And I have this. It's been a while since I've been back here because I've been so busy. But I'm gonna take some time off. I have some things that I need to take care of, and I'm gonna be spending some time in my garden and doing and getting prepared for 2023.
Well, while you're out there in your garden, just off the top of your head, what would be like, just give me 3 artists that you would have on your playlist out there listening to right now.
Well, right now I am so smitten with Buddy Guy. I just, Buddy, I'm just so smitten with him. Went Chicago a couple times this year, and then played at the Chicago Blues Festival in the Roses tent with Joe Pratt, the Joe Pratt One Source band, and and then saw Buddy Guy. Buddy was there, um, and actually, when I was about 16, 17, I snuck into a club to see Buddy. And so I got to meet Buddy this year because I mean, I've seen him perform many times, but I got to see Buddy at Legends at his club. And I I told him, when I was 16 years old, you probably don't remember this, is what I told him. I snuck into a club to go see you, and you came out on your wireless mic and you couldn't shake me off your leg.
Oh, it's fabulous. I
So
know,
I
and
think
he's still
Buddy.
producing great music and a new album, and I mean, just the man is amazing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Incredible. So here,
he's
so we got Buddy
amazing.
Guy. Who else we got on that list?
Um, Gosh, there's so many people. Well, I always Aretha Franklin. I'm a huge Aretha Franklin fan. Um, you know what I listen to? I like I like Dolly Parton, and it's Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris. Oh shoot, and one more female artist.
And they sing together. And so
Yes,
it's
you
a
know what I'm talking about?
yes, I that's why I'm thinking I do recall what that is. I can't think of what
That
it is.
I love the sound of those three voices, and I love when people collaborate together and create things together. And of course, I'm a woman, so I'm going to relate to women. I love working with other female artists as well. Doing harmonies like that, and it puts me
Well,
in a
great.
happy mood.
And you
And
came
they're
from
all three
you
so
did that
talented.
as part of your background and your career. Start of your career was doing a lot of that. So, but what in collaboration? Who would? I mean, Buddy Guy. Okay, let's just say we could get Buddy Guy playing the lead guitar for you. But
Oh, okay. Who would I have in my band?
who would you put in your band? Yes, who would they be?
Oh my God. Well, I would love to play with Buddy Guy for sure. I would,
Okay,
but
so buddy.
I'd have to make sure that I'm like put myself in check because I don't want to faint on stage. Buddy Guy. Um, I would say I guess it would be a great mix to have all those people that I just mentioned on stage. You know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to
Oh,
share
oh,
those. The thing about it is I love John Hooker's grooves. He
yeah.
is like, oh my God. It's like you can and Bobby Rush. I love Bobby Rush too.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Bobby Rush is so he puts on such a tight, amazing show and he is so doggone hilarious. He's so funny.
Oh, and John Lee can get those grooves going. He only needs one chord, and he
I
can just
know.
keep it going forever. And it never sounds. I mean, even now, I can listen to some music and it's one chord, or it just repeats itself, and it's like, oh, come on now. But
I
with
know
John Lee
all day
Hooker,
long, right?
all
All
day long, I'm
day long.
hooked. Yeah, it's amazing. So that's pretty awesome. I dig that. So tell me, what does it? What does the blues mean to you? If somebody were to just ask you that, as I just did, and not just the music itself, but the whole idea of it, what does blues mean to you?
To me personally or as
You
a genre?
as to you personally, what does the blues mean to you?
We I've sung a wide variety of genres during my lifetime, from Italian arias to musical theater, R&B, funk, Tina Marie, Shaka Khan. I mean, you just name it. And Linda Ronstadt. I mean, you just name it under the sun. But there's freedom in the blues because, I'm from Latin American descent. But so my dad listened to the blues and I had a lot of friends that introduced me to things in the blues. At the same time, I had a band in the third grade, my own band in the third grade. I was also doing um, Broadway musicals at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion in the Amundsen. So I always was, had a wide variety of genres, but
Mhm.
the blues captured me because of the feeling and it's the bearing of the soul. And and I've lived the life of the blues.
I love asking everybody that question because it always comes down to everybody has a sense of it being a reality, a simple form of it, and it always comes down to that. It just brings everybody down to the basics, and it comes from the soul, kind of thing. And I really dig that. And everybody has their own perspective on that, but it pretty much a lot of people
It's
say that
very
same kind.
visceral.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, that's very cool. So I understand you're going to be playing with the grand band in March. Is that correct? Over
I'm
there
playing
in
with what?
with
Yeah,
the
I'm playing with Joan
grand band?
and them.
Yeah, yeah. You're going to be in Palm Springs, right?
Actually, I'll be playing there in April, the first Wednesday in April in Palm Springs at Agua Caliente, correct? It's Agua
Yeah,
Caliente.
yeah, yeah. At the casino there. Oh, in
Yeah,
April. Oh,
I'll be
oh.
there in
Wait.
April.
We're going to be there in April. I think we're going to play the Howling at the Moon in
What,
April. I got
what's howling at the moon?
It's a big thing that happens every full moon in Yuma, Arizona. It's beautiful, beautiful outside. It's in the desert.
Really?
Everybody howls at the moon. And I
I
know,
want to go.
well, it's awesome. Howling at the Moon, Arizona. Check it out in Yuma, Arizona. You can find it on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, Lola is a promoter, Lola and Bill, and we love them, love them. They
I
are.
would love to go. Will you send me info if they?
Yeah, well, you know what? If you're going to be in that area, we might want to talk about you coming down here, coming down to Baja, and doing the show with us here down in back at remember Bobby's by the Sea? Remember
I
that?
do. Uh-huh.
Was that about 4 or 5 years ago? I guess it was quite a while.
Well, it was right before the pandemic. Right before the
Before, so
pandemic.
that was 2019,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and well, we went back there. We're back there now, and they're now called Vista Hermosa Resort. It is spectacular.
Ah, I
It
love
is.
that place. That place was so awesome.
It was. Well, we'd love to have you come. It still is. It still is. That's why we're back there. We love those guys. They're still awesome. They're
Mhm.
awesomer. We'll make up words as we go.
Okay.
But if you're going to be there and you're going to be that close, we'd love to get you down here, or any other
Okay.
time that's convenient.
Well, I have a booking that Saturday, so we'll talk about it. We'll talk
We'll
about it.
talk about that. I'm just letting you
Mhm.
know. I know. I
Okay.
was just putting those dots together because you mentioned April, and I was thinking, oh, we're going to be there too. So somehow
Okay.
let's connect those dots together if we can.
That would
So
be great.
let's swing back real quick. I don't want to run out of, because I did have some questions about your album. So we asked quite a few of them, but right off, I want to say, there was a good mix, and a lot of that Delta sound I had in there. Did you, when you started the album, was that in mind? Is that part of the title? The crossroads and the sound of the Delta guitar that was getting tossed in there, I mean, was all that planned in advance, or did you just create this really great thing? I mean,
The
just
song, the songs have a way of just, creating themselves, really.
wow, you did it's magical. So which track would you say is your favorite? You have a favorite?
Time for Love, I'm really there's something about Dave's playing that when I turn that on, it's hypnotic, but at the same time it takes me down a journey. And
Mm.
when he first sent that to me, mixed and mastered and everything, I was just obsessed with listening to his guitars over and over. I haven't listened to it for a while, so if I listen to it, then it's like it becomes a song obsession. I have certain song obsessions, and it's not my vocals, it's his guitar playing. Then it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that.
A bunch of those little moments in there, though. I mean, I was hearing a whole bunch of those. Then and we're about on the title track itself. It went with, it had a funky feel to it that was really cool. I mean, that funk groove in there.
Yeah,
I
he
love.
does something with the bass, that
Yeah,
friction
it
between the
was light,
bass.
but it was really well. I mean, it's just spectacular. The whole,
It
and your
hits you really
voice.
hard, doesn't it? It hits you hard right here.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, this doesn't happen very often. And I probably shouldn't say this, but I would say it
That's
anyways,
all
but
right, say it.
is that usually, I'll go to, and I'll go to Apple Music, and I get one of these teasers, and I only get a few seconds of each song, and
Sure.
I'm usually satisfied with that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, cool, cut. Oh yeah. And you just make your way, and it's like, okay, I get it, I got it. That wasn't happening. That was me going, well, where's the rest of it? I want the more. Go back. So I
I
actually
love it.
started looking for it. I was trying to
Yeah.
find where I could get the rest of this. I want to hear more. So I think you really got something special.
Thank you. I mean, I really, Dave Osty is a mastermind, and there's no doubt. And feel very, very blessed to be able to record with him.
Do you think this album is going to be a new crossroad for you? Do you think this is going to do it? Is this a
Well,
crossroad for
I like to stay in the now.
you? Mm-hmm.
I can't predict what's going to happen in the future, wherever this leads, because I always feel like music grows legs and it goes in its own direction wherever it's meant to be. I'll be content and satisfied.
Oh boy, well, you should be. It is spectacular, and I am very, very excited about it. And please, I look forward to being on your show. I look forward
Yeah,
to getting you down here and sharing some more Baja with you, because you got fans here, and they'd love to see
I
you
haven't
again.
seen them in a while, and I really, um, I know we'll talk about it, but you guys are a little hard to get a hold of. And I think like the last week of March, I have a week open.
In March. Okay, well, let's do that. We're going to pencil that right now. As you know,
Yeah,
Rachel.
the last. I think.
Over there.
Yeah, I think it's like the last. I think it's I think it's like the 17th through the 20 something. I have a little break in there, and so that would probably work for me.
Well, that'd be very cool. Well, it's wonderful to see you as always. Before you go, can you say, "Give hunger the blues"? Oh
Give.
no, but yeah, but first introduce yourself. I mean,
Oh,
say
okay, okay.
introduce yourself, the whole thing, and then say,
Let me
"Give
find
hunger."
good lighting here. I
Yeah, there we go.
need my sunglasses on. Okay. Can you see me? Let's see.
Right there,
Oh,
right there.
okay. Now I can
There
see
we go.
myself. The sun. Hi, this is Brigitte Purdy, and give. Ah! The wind just kicked up.
Perfect.
Ah! Hey, this is Brigitte Purdy, and give hunger the blues. Oh,
Awesome. And one more plug for your album, if you don't mind, that I can just tag
okay,
on to some things. Let us
sure.
know when it's going to be around. You're
Spring.
looking at March, about
Mhm.
spring.
Yeah. Hi, this is Brigitte Purdy, and I'm looking forward to releasing my new album in 2023 in spring, entitled Mother of the Crossroads.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining us today,
you.
as always. And thanks for sharing your beautiful garden. What are you planting right now, by the way?
I'm planting a bunch of cactus and stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm planting a
They're
bunch of
so
cactus, because succulents right now, because it's not spring yet. But once I get spring, then I will have a ton of sunflowers just all over the backyard.
Oh, I love those. Are beautiful. We got them growing up the road here too, right here in
Yeah,
we're still near Ensenada, so we look forward to having you down.
I cannot wait. It's going to be a great reunion. You guys take care of yourself. Thank you for all you do for
Thank you.
people, for artists, and for feeding people. It's
We're
a
doing our
blessing.
best, and we're going to hit 20,000. We will
Wow.
do it right here in this community. That takes care of a lot of those that need it. I mean, just right in this area, it's wonderful. It
Hmm.
really is. So that's a lot of food. We're going to do it. We'll keep on going. That's all we can do. You know,
That's
music and
awesome.
meals heal.
Music does heal. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
Bye bye.
Toodles. Bye.